It is almost Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni is the second Passover, the second chance Passover is what I call it. We find out about this in the book of Numbers. There are some men, the Bible just says some certain men, like we don't know who they were, just certain men who came to Moses and said, hey, we have been disqualified to attend Passover because we've been defiled by a dead body. This is part of the law, part of the protection that God put on his children, that you guys, if you're around a dead body, you can't come into the fellowship. You need to stay away for 7 days to make sure that whatever sickness is on that dead person didn't get on you and is transmitted to everyone else. And so they have been defiled, and they were not able, because they were unclean, to go in to the fellowship and participate in Passover with the rest of the nation. But these guys knew that this was the party of the year, and they didn't want to miss it. And they knew that this was an important time of sitting and retelling the story of the Passover. This was such a significant date. And at this point, I think this is what, I don't know how many of the feasts they were celebrating yet, but this was one of the feasts that they, maybe the only feast that they were celebrating at this point. And because several of them were like, when you get in the promised land, do these things. So this was significant, and they did not want to be left out. And they went to Moses and they said, hey, give us some kind of answer on this. What do we do? Because we don't want to miss out. And Moses went to the Lord, and the Lord said, you know what? We're going to set up a second chance for people that miss this. For people that were not ready because they were unclean, they will be able to have a do-over. And as I was thinking about this, I thought about like a birthday party. You know, your kid's all excited and they're wanting to go to a birthday party, and you know they're going to Chuck E. Cheese, or they're going bowling, or they're going skating with their friends, and then they get sick on the day of the birthday party and they miss out. What if it was a thing where if you missed a birthday party because of sickness, you could have a second chance birthday party, and you could go back with the birthday kid and have a do-over. A month later on the same date, you and that birthday child go back, and you get to have the pizza and the cake, and you get to roller skate, or you get to, whatever it is. And I just started thinking about that, because that's basically what they were asking for. They wanted to have this special time with the Lord. They wanted to have this moment. And as I was thinking about it, a sister shared this story yesterday, and she was talking about not just this example, but several examples in scripture where people's desperation, where people asked the Lord for something that went against all the things, where they, I won't get into all of that, but this was one of the examples. This was her first example of how people pressed in and said, I don't want to be denied here. I don't want to miss out on the things of God. I just don't, I just can't miss this great thing. I want to be a part of this. And the Lord allowed that to happen. And so, as I was thinking about that this morning, and I was just reflecting on that, I realized that not just these men, but everyone from then on out was blessed with the opportunity of the second chance Passover. We have that today. Pesach Sheni today exists because of these people, these certain men who insisted on not missing. They said, God, we don't want to miss your Passover. We don't want to miss this feast. We don't want to miss this time of gathering with you. And what the Lord was showing me was that this is like policy change. This is like when you add an amendment to the Constitution. It's like, oh, wait a minute, we've got to change something. This is like precedent. Like, this is a thing, but it's not just for them, but it's for everybody after them. They pressed in, they asked, they made a request, they brought to God a situation, and God said, you know what? Not only am I going to do it for you, I'm going to do it for everybody that comes after you. And so this week, excuse me, specifically Thursday evening into Friday, I want you to think about what is it that you can, maybe the Lord is asking you to fast and pray, and push in and ask God, I want to see this thing change, and not just in my generation, not just in my family, not just in my life, but I want to see this gone forever. And as I was thinking about this, I also thought about like generational curses, things where, this person, these people were drunks, and their kids were drunks, and their grandkids were drunks, but then somebody in the bloodline says, no more. I'm cutting this thing off. It will not continue with me. It will not continue in my life. It will not affect my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. We're done with this. Poverty, right? Lack, debt. We're going to stop right here. No more of this. Not in our family. We're going to break this. We're going to get some financial education. We're going to get some deliverance, some healing, some freedom, and we're going to do something different. This has been affecting our family for generations, but it's not going to go on any further. What about in our nation? What are some things that God is putting on your heart where I've seen this and I've seen this and I've seen this, but I'm not, no more. No more. It stops with me, and it's going to change, and I'm going to be the one that's going to stand in the gap, and I'm going to see this thing changed. So that's all I have today. I just wanted to encourage you with that. I wanted to challenge you with that this is a time to press in and to ask God for something and to see a change, not just for you, not just for your household, but for the generations.